My name is Dean Burns. I am the VP of Education and the HOD of the Writing for Film and Television program at Shanghai Vancouver Film School. If someone had told me 7 years ago that I would have these respective job titles, I would not have believed them. Why? Because when the school opened in 2014, I only had a 2-month contract and I expected to be back in Canada for Christmas. 7 years have passed since then, and I have still not got back to Canada for Christmas. So what happened? A country that was very unfamiliar became familiar, but more importantly, I found a home in Shanghai. When I arrived, the school was still under construction. It was a race against time before the first day of classes. It was a challenge, and exciting, and fun. Looking back, everything was a challenge for me. I had been living in a cocoon of routine in Vancouver, which is small, quiet, and framed by the mountains and sea, while Shanghai is the largest city in the world and framed by more Shanghai, and more Shanghai, and more Shanghai. I faced a significant learning curve living in China. Language, food, local customs, etiquette, traffic, and technology. Before coming to Shanghai, I had never owned or used a cell phone. In China, life is impossible without one. WeChat became part of my life, and though it took some time, I stopped carrying cash money out of habit and embraced Alipay, Didi, Baidu, and an assortment of other apps. In fact, my world became a lot larger courtesy of these apps. They allowed me to book planes and trains, take me to Chengdu, Beijing, Qingdao, Hong Kong, Xiamen, Guangzhou, Sanya, Haikou, Kunming, and of course, all the surrounding cities outside of Shanghai. Hangzhou, Suzhou, and Nanjing. And by traveling in China, I discovered each province and each of these cities had their own distinct personalities. I also discovered my travels assisted me with my job, not necessarily as an administrator, but as a writing instructor where my purpose is to help students tell their stories. One of life's truths is you never stop learning, and while guiding the education of my students, they have also educated me. And I sincerely believe I have learned more from them than they have learned from me, because it's through their stories that I really discovered China. Yes, their stories are fictional, but they draw on their own life experiences. My students are from all over China. Some have just graduated from middle school, others have degrees or are in business and parents. Their ages are from 18 to 55, and they're from all economic classes. And through their stories, I was introduced to overworked medical interns, feuding senior citizens overcoming their differences, parental expectations in Gaokao, Beijing opera politics, wuxi, eating contests, middle school sports, and reality show divas. It's been my privilege to experience China through the stories my students have created. The fears, frustrations, joys, and triumphs of their characters reflect the China they live in and a country I now call home. SHVFS is not most schools. SHVFS runs 24/7. There isn't an on-off switch to the school because there isn't an on-off switch to your creativity. It is the fuel that runs the school. Past the building at night, the lights are always burning. And our job this year is to make sure that your creative light doesn't dim but burns brighter and brighter.